I'm back working on my Rhodes Metal Shaper, and the next thing to do is to put this motor on it. The problem is there's not anywhere to attach a motor to this thing. It would have originally been driven off a line shaft. Because this thing's been retrofitted with a planetary gearbox, I can run directly from the motor to this pulley. It's a 5-to-1 reduction here, so I don't need a counter shaft on this. The mounting holes on this are actually underneath and they're threaded from below. We talk about order of operations in machining, and this would have been a lot easier to do when the thing was taken apart, but instead I just need to very carefully manhandle 300 pounds of cast iron over. Of course, all of the oil is draining out of the gearbox, but I'll refill it later. It was probably overfilled anyway. These are 7/16 threads. Just want to chase the gunk out of them. Then I think this way is 9 3/8. A little bit trickier to tell, but that's what clearance is for. I eventually want to build a proper stand for this machine, but that's going to involve a lot of welding and grinding and painting and filling, and it's really cold outside right now, so I'm going to put that on hold and right now just use this big plate to make a base for it and a motor mount. And then this will eventually become the top of the stand too, so I'm just kind of keeping that in mind as I do this. That'll be where my screws are and then have that much overhanging in the front. I have a bad habit of always underestimating and cutting things off too short. So in this case, I'm going to leave it long until I drill all these holes and get figured out exactly how long it should be. I'm just going to work around the long piece for now and cut it off later. That was a pretty awkward thing to get into place, but it fits the bottom of the shaper. I went with countersunk screws just because I need this to be flat and the heads are thinner than if I used a socket head screw. Socket head screw would have only left about 1/4 inch of thickness. This thing is built like a cast iron outhouse. I think this motor is going to sit right about like that. It looks like if this flange is right against the edge, it's the right alignment, but I just need a riser plate for this so that the flywheel clears. This material should be thick enough, and I've got plenty of it, so I'll use some of that. With the saw cut cleaned up, I'm trying to figure out how all this is going to attach together. I've got some 3/8 flatheads that I'm going to use to attach the riser to the base, and then they need to not interfere with the mounting holes for the motor. And then I also need to figure out how to screw the whole thing to the bench, but I think I'm just going to leave another inch here and get some bigger lag screws and just put those through there. You had the advantage of watching all of that in a few seconds, but I figured out where this goes yesterday and then came back to it. It should be sitting there. I laid it out for there. I think I can salvage this, but I think I can use these holes as the start of the slot for these and just do another one there. I really don't like slotting on the mill, and I did not do a great job with this, especially keeping track of where I was in the various slots, but now I can drop some square head bolts in here. Since you're not going to see this anyway, I'm not that concerned about it. I am still really struggling with getting the alignment right between these two pulleys. I think it needs to be kind of about there. But before I bolt this one down, I want to get the belt on here. I need to figure out how long of a belt I need. So all the way back looks like about 30 and a half. All the way the other way is about 29 and a half, so we'll go about 30. And just like magic, the perfect size belt appears. I think with the motor right about there, it's tracking pretty well. I went ahead and drilled some holes in this as well for lag screws, reinforced the workbench, and got this thing screwed down because it's easier to do it before I put the shaper on it. Now I just need to take it off and put the shaper back on it. I think that'll do the trick pretty nicely. The problem now is, one, this is ugly. Doesn't really fit with the rest of the machine because the rest of the machine is pretty classy. Two, the end of this motor is open. I want to protect it from getting chips and dust and oil and all that stuff in it. And three, I've also got this control board, choke, switch, power cord, and a fuse from the treadmill that I need to put somewhere. So I'm going to put all of this stuff in one enclosure. Now that should be able to sit flat on the base. If you've never used a 4-inch hole saw and a hand drill on sheet metal, you're really missing out. After a whole bunch more cutting and drilling and grinding, I've got the power cord, fuse, switch, and potentiometer mounted, and a big hole for ventilation. To keep dirt and chips out, I'm just going to take a piece of this furnace filter. I'm just going to sandwich that between a couple of these 120 millimeter fan grills. That looks pretty good to me, and if the fan on the treadmill motor doesn't give enough airflow, it'll be pretty easy to come back and add another fan to this later. The nice thing about getting an entire treadmill is it usually has the wiring diagram somewhere in there, which is good if you ripped the thing apart 6 months ago and don't remember how it goes back together. The blue wires go to a thermal switch in the motor, so if it overheats, it shuts everything down. I think this is a pretty tidy setup. It's not original, it doesn't look original. This was probably a line shaft machine. I know they also made these with a stand with its own electric motor. Trying to do anything that replicates original would be really tough. So I think kind of admitting that this is the old machine, this is the new drive, is a pretty good way to go here. Well, I guess all that's left to do is try to set up and make some chips with it. Quickest T-nut video on YouTube. I didn't bother cleaning up the tops on these because they were getting kind of thinner than I was hoping, and it doesn't need it. I need to make a 1/2-inch square handle for these. I think that's set up right. Let's turn it on and see what happens. I still need to calibrate the speeds here, so for now I'm just kind of going by feel. One of the reasons I wanted a shaper for doing what I do with a lot of crusty metal is all of the crusty chips get pushed away from the ways of the machine instead of flinging it around everywhere like the mill does. This surface finish shows a lot of signs of needing to learn what I'm doing with this thing, but that will come in time. This was the tool that actually came in the machine when I got it. And I didn't even really regrind it or sharpen it, so that's probably part of my problem. I'm pretty glad to have this thing finally working. This is really just the beginning for this machine. I'm going to put it to some good use. And I think the next step for it is to make a vise for it. So if you want to see that, stick around. Before you go, I threw a different tool in here. Just another random one I had. Very little nose radius on it. But the result is much better. So thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm going to be spending some time grinding tools for this thing.